Welcome to LeVy Stories, where real-life stories come to life. If you're fascinated by true, emotional, and surprising stories, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Your support motivates me to keep sharing these unforgettable stories with you. Now, let's dive into today's story. There are moments that linger in the shadows of your heart, memories you long to erase, as if you could simply brush them away like dust from a forgotten surface. Yet, despite every effort, the mark endures, and the recollection haunts the soul. It lingers in the shadows of your mind, surfacing at the most unexpected moments. 2 years have passed since that fateful night. 2 years since the world I believed in crumbled into fragments before me. Isn't it wild? The memory lingers, as vivid as if it unfolded just moments ago. The memory of that evening lingers, the air thick and heavy, as if the universe itself was whispering a warning to my soul. The house was silent, an unsettling stillness that hung in the air, heavy with unspoken longing. No, it was the kind of silence that sends a shiver through your core, leaving you breathless and uncertain before you even grasp the reason behind it. Initially, it seemed insignificant to me. Honestly, there was nothing compelling me to do so. What compels me to do so? This was my sanctuary, my heart, the souls I held dear in this life. Yet, in that moment, a whisper reached my ears, a whisper so delicate, seemingly trivial in its solitude, yet it ignited a tempest within me, causing my heart to thrum wildly against the confines of my chest. A soft murmur, a hesitant movement, the delicate sound of someone treading lightly, as if every step is a secret, a fleeting moment that could shatter with the slightest misstep. I knew I should have turned back. I ought to have turned away from it. Perhaps I would not be present to share this story with you if I had acted differently. Yet, a profound, aching instinct within me clung to it, unwilling to release its grip. Have you ever experienced that deep, stirring sensation? A disquiet stirs deep within your soul. An electric thrill twirls through your spine, prompting your senses to become aware of a reality beyond your comprehension, indicating that something is not right. That was the essence of my experience. Compelled by an irresistible pull, I ventured towards the haunting melody. With each passing moment, my heart pounds fiercely, and my palms glisten with anticipation. My body seemed to be anticipating the revelation that lay ahead, yet my heart could not embrace the truth. And then, it revealed itself to me. My eyes fell upon him. Everything I knew underwent a transformation in that fleeting instant. In a fleeting moment, the foundations of my faith and loyalty, trust, and the very essence of those I held dear shattered into a million pieces. Allow me to pose a question to you. What emotions would you experience if you discovered a secret that was held by an individual who was deeply cherished to you and in whom you had complete faith? Could you embrace the unimaginable? Would you hesitate? Would you unleash your hidden feelings? Would you choose to ignore the situation, jeopardizing your own mental well-being in favor of what ought to stay unsaid? I find myself lost in uncertainty, grappling with the weight of unspoken truths. All I can grasp is the path I chose to tread, and trust me, I will always remember the events that followed. Before I share my deepest secrets, there's something I must ask of you. Embrace the allure of connection and join us by hitting that subscribe button. For if you believe this tale has already stirred your heart, brace yourself for the revelations that lie ahead. The Odyssey is a tale of unexpected betrayal, where the heart finds itself entangled in a web of shocking infidelity, revealing that treachery often lurks in the most surprising corners. Now, let us delve into the depths of this experience. Have you ever found yourself reflecting on a moment, only to uncover the hidden signs that were present all along? The fragments of a once complete picture lay bare before you, but you were too engrossed in your own beliefs to understand their connection. That is the exact sensation that overtakes me when I contemplate my younger brother. Our bond was undeniable. Since our earliest days, it was always the two of us standing together against everything that tried to pull us apart. Through every twist and turn, our loyalty intertwined, a bond that defied the odds. He was the sole individual in whom I could always have faith, the one in whom I never had to question my judgment. He was not just my brother, but also my closest confidant, understanding me in a way that no one else could. But one truth has become painfully clear. The transformation of those you hold dear can completely surprise you. It began with a whisper, a gentle stir in the depths of the heart. Initially, it was merely subtle hints. I often overlooked these moments, lost in the shadows of my mind. A transformation in his essence. His gaze lingered, heavy with unspoken longing. His voice was trembling as he spoke to me, as if he were trying to conceal a profound yearning. One night, as we sank into the familiar embrace of the couch, lost in the glow of the screen, it felt like a moment suspended in time. a bittersweet echo of countless evenings shared. I found myself adrift, consumed by the depths of my reflections. I am unable to ignore the rift that has developed between my partner and me as I contemplate our relationship. Once, we shared an intimacy that felt unbreakable. Once, our hearts danced in unison, filled with joy and unspoken longings. Yet, as time passed, that joy began to slip away in the shadows. I can't pinpoint the exact moment it began. To be honest, perhaps it was during those increasingly frequent late nights at work that everything began to shift. Perhaps it was the shift in his gaze, no longer filled with the adoration that once made me feel like I was everything to him. Perhaps it was the manner in which he would pass by me in the hallway, without a single glance, as if I were a mere shadow, unseen and unacknowledged. That was the essence of my experience. It felt as though I could disappear completely, leaving the world to continue without my presence. It felt as though I was merely drifting, lost in the monotony of each day, yearning for a spark, a whisper of something that would awaken my soul and remind me of my existence. At that moment, I began to perceive my brother in a new light. The intensity of his gaze pierced through the air, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and dangerous. There was a tension in the air during our conversations, as if something had shifted between us, something I couldn't quite name. His hand lingered on my skin, a fleeting moment where neither of us felt the need to withdraw as we both knew we should. I persuaded myself that it was merely a dream, that perhaps I was delving deeper than necessary. Yet, beneath the surface, a tempest of feelings stirred, challenging the very fabric of our bond. The singular soul I believed would forever be my unwavering support. Yet, there were those instances that beckoned me, impossible to overlook. The gentleness that was interwoven into each word, as if he were walking on sacred ground, was intoxicating. His voice would dip slightly when he addressed me. He whispered secrets he was afraid to face. Whenever my partner was near, his body coiled with tension, his jaw set tight, and his hands balled into fists at his sides. The intensity of his gaze enveloped me that night. The memories linger vividly in my mind. The soft, flickering light of the TV danced across his features, casting shadows that whispered secrets of longing and unspoken yearnings. The flickering images danced across the screen, their whispers lost to me. Yet a profound longing stirred within as I sat in silence. The depth of his gaze consumed all my thoughts. He was gazing into the depths of my soul. He was truly seeing me, in a manner that had been lost to time, evoking feelings long buried. I experienced profound recognition for the first time in a lifetime. I felt profoundly seen. I should have put an end to it right there. I wish I had found the courage to speak up, to take action. Yet, I refrained, and that was the moment everything began to unravel. Because that fleeting moment, it was merely the dawn of something profound. Uncertainty loomed ahead, shrouded in an intoxicating mix of anticipation and longing. What if I had? Perhaps I could have turned my back before the moment slipped away. That night began like countless others, yet beneath the surface, an unspoken tension simmered, hinting at the thrill of what was to come. Everything feels achingly familiar, yet there's an undercurrent of something thrilling and unspoken, a longing that stirs the heart in unexpected ways. There's nothing that could prompt my heart to change its mind. It was just my little brother and me, lost in our world, sharing moments that felt both familiar and thrilling. A film that we have seen countless times, a classic comedy, flickers softly in the background. Despite this, it evokes a deeper emotion within us. This film invites you to immerse yourself in the murkiness of unsaid desires and concealed desires. You can feel the underlying tension and excitement, as if each glance and whisper conceals a secret awaiting revelation. The intention was to create a haven of tranquility, simple. Yet, it was not, for there was an undeniable spark that lingered in the atmosphere that evening. There was an undeniable longing for something that was beyond the ordinary. A sensation stirred within me long before I could grasp its true nature. An overwhelming heaviness rests upon my heart. An intensity hung in the air, palpable and electric, as we fidgeted in our seats, unable to find solace in the space that separated us. Initially, I believed it was solely my experience. Perhaps I was lost in my thoughts. Perhaps it was just a fleeting moment. But then he caught my eye. His behavior was so captivating. The way he kept stealing glances at me was filled with an intensity that felt so different, so charged. Unlike the familiar gaze of a brother sharing a movie with his sister. No, the moment felt unlike anything before. It began with fleeting glances, a spark igniting in the silence between us. You can't notice the fleeting glances unless you're truly attuned to their intensity. Yet, I was fully aware, and once I became aware, it lingered in my mind. Impossible to ignore. His gaze would hover just a heartbeat longer before retreating into the shadows. He appeared to be struggling to conceal his true feelings. He appeared to be attempting to conceal the longing in his gaze. And then there were the subtle caresses. Almost nothing. As he reached for the remote, the brief contact of his arm against mine caused a shiver to run down my spine. A subtle brush of his knee as he adjusted himself ignited a spark of unspoken tension between them. Subtle nuances, innocent moments. Yet, it felt anything but innocent. Each occurrence sent a shiver through my skin, awakening something deep within me. My breath hitched, a wave of longing washing over me. Somewhere, deep within, a soft voice murmured, "This isn't how it should be." I attempted to push it away. I found it difficult to fully engage with the film. I struggled to mask the undeniable warmth radiating from his body. So tantalizingly near to my own, I was oblivious to how his leg lingered against mine, a moment stretching beyond the ordinary. But then, he made a move that ignited a spark deep within me. He reached toward me in a caring gesture, one that might have once felt innocent, but now stirred confusion within me, igniting a spark of something unspoken between us. In an instant, everything changed, as if it were merely a fleeting moment, as if it were just a part of everyday life, as if the bond of blood had faded away. I stood still, my heart racing. Every nerve in my body was gripped tightly. My thoughts were a tempest, urging me to act, to find humor in the moment, to utter a word, anything at all. Yet, I found myself unable to do so. In that fleeting instant, a profound truth washed over me. This was never a thought I entertained. It was all too real. A profound shift was unfolding between us. It was a sensation I struggled to fully comprehend. I was afraid to confront it. What was the most excruciating part? In that brief moment, I found myself suspended in time, unable to retreat. I should have retreated. I should have acted accordingly. Yet, I refrained. I find myself lost in a whirlwind of feelings, unable to grasp the reason behind it all. Perhaps I was enveloped in a haze of disbelief. Perhaps I found myself stuck shortly, unable to progress. Perhaps, buried within me, there was a reluctance to confront the truth of my feelings. Yet, in an instant, it all slipped away, leaving only echoes of what once was. He hesitated, withdrawing his hand as if ensnared in a fleeting moment of desire that dared not transcend the boundaries. He shifted in his seat, a restless energy coursing through him. He behaved as if the past had never touched us, and I surrendered to the moment. I stifled a laugh, masking the turmoil within. I shared a foolish jest. I maintained an air of composure, although my heart was beating with a nearly unbearable intensity. I convinced myself my feelings were insignificant. Perhaps I was experiencing more than I should have. And then, a spark ignited within, awakening feelings long buried, a yearning that whispered of the untouchable, drawing me closer to the edge of what I once thought impossible. A message from someone I thought I understood. It left me questioning everything. From him, a spark ignites, awakening feelings long buried and hidden away. My heart raced with a combination of excitement and apprehension as I opened it, and a wave of longing surged within me. "You seemed different tonight. Are you okay?" You only need 6 words to express everything. Uncomplicated, lighthearted. Yet, everything about it was steeped in complexity. In that moment, I felt an undeniable spark, a whisper of what was yet to come. I gazed at the message, my heart racing with unspoken longing. "You seemed different tonight. Are you okay?" 6 words stir the soul. That's all there is. 6 simple words bore a weight they shouldn't have. That shouldn't have ignited such a storm within me, causing my hands to tremble, my heart to tighten, and my breath to falter in my throat. I found myself drawn to it once more. I'm back again. Could this be a manifestation of my imagination? Could I have been overreacting to something that appeared so insignificant? Perhaps it was pure, untouched by the weight of consequence. Perhaps he was simply expressing a tender affection. Brothers often express admiration for their sisters, don't they? It was never meant to carry weight. Yet, if that were the case, why did my fingers remain paralyzed above the screen, unable to craft a reply? Why was my heart pounding with a perilous allure, a yearning for something I was ill-equipped to confront? I ought to have turned away from it. I could have disregarded it, allowing it to vanish as if it were of no consequence. Yet, I chose not to. Instead, I lingered in uncertainty. My thoughts danced wildly, each one pulling me deeper into a whirlwind of longing and unspoken yearnings. I knew it deep within my soul. I sensed there was more beneath the surface of that seemingly innocent compliment, and I understood that the sensations coursing through me, the heat radiating from my skin, and the unsteady rhythm of my breath were all so wrong. However, it seemed like a lifetime had passed since I felt the warmth of genuine acknowledgement. Someone had fixed their intense gaze on me. I closed my eyes and felt a sensation of awakening within me as I took a deep breath. In an instant, my thoughts wandered to a place beyond reach. I longed to cherish him, my beloved. He ignited a spark within me, instilling a sense of exquisiteness in my silence. He would casually hold my hand, twirl my hair while we lingered in each other's company, and pull me near at night to relish the warmth of my presence. That man now seemed like a haunting presence. We shared the same space, intertwined in the same sheets, yet an invisible chasm separated us, leaving us feeling like mere strangers. It felt like an eternity since his gaze had truly met mine. His gaze had not met mine in fleeting moments, nor with the hollow courtesy we share at present. He genuinely looked into my heart. The way my brother conducted himself this evening struck me. This thought alone sent a shiver through me, contracting my internal muscles in an exhilarating yet painful way. What was it about me that felt so off? Why did it matter to me at all? I shook my head, attempting to banish the thoughts. Yet they clung to me like an indelible mark, refusing to fade away. In a moment that felt both exhilarating and reckless, my fingers danced across the keyboard, crafting a reply before I could fully grasp the weight of my actions. My heart felt gratitude. It's as simple as 2 words, uncomplicated, pure. That was the narrative I crafted for my solace. Nevertheless, my heart raced with an intoxicating thrill as I pressed the send button, and a rush of adrenaline rushed through my fingertips. I experienced it profoundly within myself. I realized that I had entered an unsuitable realm, and once you embrace that initial moment, it becomes incredibly difficult to retreat. The following morning, I resolved to push it all away from my mind. It was merely a fleeting instance, a misinterpretation, nothing more. However, what really stood out were the subtle moments. He deliberately avoided my gaze during breakfast, only to steal a glance when I shifted my attention. The softness in his voice, a whisper that lingered in the air, suggested an unspoken tension, as if he was holding his breath, waiting for me to take the plunge into the depths of our shared secret. It was as if his essence enveloped me, igniting a heightened awareness that stirred something deep within, awakening feelings I had long buried. And then, there were those fleeting moments that stirred something deep within. Previously, I overlooked these insignificant moments, but now they evoke a profound emotion within me. I now sense a profound shift within myself. The way he leaned in slightly more during our conversations ignited a spark that felt both thrilling and perilous. In my presence, his laughter assumed a more gentle cadence, as if he were treading lightly. The moment his hand lingered just a heartbeat longer as he handed me something, our fingertips grazing against each other, sent a shiver through me. These were subtle moments, tinged with an intensity that lingered in the air. However, such constraints did not bind them. A spark that cannot be ignored is ignited by even the gentlest caress when the lines are drawn. I convinced myself it meant nothing whatsoever. I lost myself in my own thoughts. I found myself lost in the depths of my thoughts. But then a sudden realization arrived. The intensity persists, surpassing its predetermined duration. He can convey emotions that words cannot adequately convey. There were moments when I felt his gaze linger on me, a silent acknowledgement of something unspoken, something that ignited a spark within me, even when I thought no one was watching. He gazed at me, not with the detached ease of a Sybil sibling, with an intensity that stirred my soul. Something ignited a deep longing within me, reigniting a fire I believed had long been extinguished, leaving me breathless and filled with yearning. What was the most heart-wrenching part? I let him continue. The tension remained unbroken. The weight of unvoiced feelings lingered between us, palpable and intensifying with each moment that slipped by. And gradually, a tantalizing thought began to weave its way into my consciousness. What if I yearned for him to carry on? Have you ever sensed a change in the atmosphere? It is as though the universe remains unaltered, yet a profound transformation is occurring within your very being. It was a moment charged with an intensity that took my breath away. What was meant to be an ordinary journey turned into something unexpected and profound, a brief escape with loved ones. A moment that feels both familiar and yet tinged with an undercurrent of longing. It was the familiar act, a dance we had performed countless times. Yet this moment felt charged with an intensity that was impossible to ignore. This is a temporary escape to a seaside sanctuary. This type of sanctuary boasts creaky wooden floors and expansive windows, inviting the soothing whispers of the waves inside. Golden rays of sunlight embrace the skin, while the ocean breeze carries the tantalizing aroma of grilled delights from the patio, igniting a longing deep within. There was tension in the air. Even though everyone was laughing and talking, it made you think of unspoken desires and hidden connections. But what about me? A profound realization was about to dawn on me. Ever since that message, since that evening, everything has shifted in ways I never anticipated. I convinced myself that everything remained the same. I aspire to be able to reduce the intensity of my emotions when he is in close proximity. I wished I could persuade myself that the intensity of his gaze was simply a product of my imagination. Yet, I found myself trapped in a web of self-deception. What was the most heart-wrenching part? A torrent of emotions enveloped me, leaving me uncertain about whether I truly desired to relinquish control. It unfolded in the warmth of the afternoon light. Others went into town because of the shops and the chance to see things from a different perspective. But I felt a deeper longing that spoke of unknown paths and hidden desires. I should have ventured forth. Perhaps I should have conjured up any reason to create space between us. Yet, when he declared his intention to remain, I found myself drawn to the same choice. In that moment, the world faded away, leaving only the two of us in a fragile silence, charged with unspoken longing. I convinced myself it was acceptable. It felt like a fleeting moment, yet it stirred something deep within me. It was merely my brother. Yet, as the car drove off and the echoes of joy dwindled into silence, the house seemed to transform, enveloped in an air of longing, more subdued, weightier. The air between us held a heavy tension, as if the walls themselves could sense it. We lingered on the back porch, enveloped in the soothing sound of the waves, lost in a moment that felt both familiar and tantalizingly out of reach. The warm breeze caressed my skin, yet an icy shiver coursed through me. The air was thick with an undeniable tension, a feeling that wrapped around me like a secret longing. A heavy tension lingers between us, an unseen force that draws us closer with each passing moment. I endeavored to preserve a facade of normalcy by telling a silly joke about the seagulls, a trivial diversion that served to alleviate the oppressive silence that remained between us. And for a fleeting moment, he let out a soft, bittersweet laugh. But then his gaze met mine, truly gazed into my soul. In an instant, the distance that once separated us seemed to vanish, insufficiently sized. It began with a fleeting caress. It was so delicate, so seemingly trivial, that we should have dismissed it entirely. As I extended my hand toward my drink, he too sought something deeper, an unspoken connection lingering in the air between us. Our fingers grazed against each other, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and dangerous, not in the awkward, chance encounters that unfold 100 times daily. Absolutely not. This touch resonated deeply. It lingered, and neither of us dared to break the connection. A heartbeat lingered, another heartbeat followed. His voice then broke the silence. He admitted that pinpointing the exact moment it began was difficult. His voice was a soft whisper, laced with caution. Yet, I find myself unable to turn away any longer. My heart sank. My heart raced wildly, a tempest within my chest, while my thoughts whirled in a frantic dance, yearning to halt the chaos before it spiraled beyond control. Yet, words eluded me. His unspoken truth carried a significant weight on me. In that moment, a rush of anticipation coursed through me, as if I could feel the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air, charged with a longing that both thrilled and terrified me. What was the most excruciating part? A hidden, thrilling part of me yearned for him to continue. I could have held him back. I had the opportunity to intervene at that precise moment. The moment was fleeting. I had the choice of disregarding it, redirecting the conversation, or constructing an excuse to flee. Yet, I chose not to. During that moment, his words sparked a profound emotion within me that I am unable to suppress, although I am unable to determine the exact moment when it all began. A fragment of my soul, buried and concealed, resonated profoundly with his words. This realization filled me with a deep sense of dread. My breath hitched in my throat, My heart raced with a fervor that echoed in my ears. I parted my lips, yearning to express the whirlwind within, yet silence enveloped me, leaving my thoughts unspoken. How do you react to a truth you sensed was inevitable, yet never allowed yourself to acknowledge? I took a deep breath, averted my gaze, and attempted to persuade myself that by ignoring it, I could erase its existence. Yet he refused to allow me to escape from this truth. This moment is different. He inched nearer. There was a faint hint of intimacy, a fragile connection that enabled me to perceive the warmth emanating from his body as it interacted with my own. I ought to have distanced myself, yet I chose not to. Instead, I allowed the silence to linger, heavy and charged. Between us, in that stillness, unspoken feelings resonated with a depth that words could never capture. He looked at me differently. There was something unspoken between us that needed to be addressed, not nurtured. His voice, soft and hushed, resonated within me with an intensity that felt almost overwhelming. I felt paralyzed, ensnared in a dreadful, unthinkable instant that I had no right to experience. I found myself emotionally leaning on someone I shouldn't have, blurring the lines between comfort and confusion, my essence. And yet, there lingers a profound yearning, an ache that stirs the soul, beckoning towards the shadows of what should not be. The whisper of longing ignites the heart, compelling one to explore the depths of passion hidden beneath the surface. The words ignited a tremor within me. I stifled a laugh. Masking the turmoil within, it emerged with a tremor. Lacking authenticity, I whispered, my voice a blend of disbelief and longing. You are behaving in an entirely absurd manner. You're simply... I am not. His voice carried a weight of longing, a blend of certainty and unspoken yearning. There was no doubt in his mind. Silence hangs heavy in the air. There is only raw honesty. And that was the moment of awakening. In that moment, I realized that the path ahead had irreversibly changed. The experience was a revelation of hidden truths. The present was not a situation to take lightly. This was profound. My breath trembled with an unspoken longing. As I gazed at him, truly gazed, the depths of his eyes stirred something within me, causing my stomach to churn with a mix of longing and trepidation. He never saw it as merely a game. It was a profound realization, a deep yearning that refused to fade away. It was undeniable, and what could be more devastating? A part of me was desperate to feel something again, even if it came from the wrong place. Emotions welled up, stinging my eyes, gritting my teeth. I shook my head, battling the turbulent storm within me. This feels so forbidden, I murmured. I understand, he replied. What compels you to express these thoughts? I can no longer mask the truth within me. A heavy weight settled in my throat. I craved the intensity of anger. I experienced a powerful impulse to yell at him, to push him away, to express how disgusting he was, and to insist that the incident was only a dream. Yet, the words eluded me. Instead, I experienced a profound longing. Fear enveloped me. The intensity of my emotions terrified me. The absence of the emotions I longed to embrace haunts me. If I was truly disgusted and repulsed, why did my heart race with every glance he directed at me? What was it about his touch that caused my heart to race and my breath to catch in my throat? Why did a part of me feel like I was teetering on the brink of something profound, as if one daring step could plunge me into a world of uncharted emotions? Time slipped away as we lingered in that moment, lost in the depths of our unspoken connection. Moments. It was a timeless moment. His gaze lingered on me, heavy with anticipation. He was anticipating my decision, a moment filled with unspoken longing. The decision was to venture into uncharted territory. Alternatively, I could turn away, my heart heavy with longing. And then, a spark ignited within, awakening feelings long buried, drawing me into a realm of longing and unspoken yearnings. There was the haunting echo of a door slowly opening. There was a sudden, longing-filled gasp. In that fleeting moment, the solitude that once enveloped us began to dissolve. There was a whisper in the shadows, unsteady, awestruck. What on earth is happening? My heart sank. Every part of my being crumbled into dust. In that moment, time seemed to stand still as I beheld my partner, eyes wide with shock, face drained of color, rooted to the spot in a haunting stillness. And everything broke apart in that fleeting moment. A wave of numbness washed over me, enveloping my senses in a haze of longing. It felt as if my mind was lagging behind the whirlwind of emotions unfolding around me. It felt as though the universe had orchestrated a plan to capture me in this poignant moment, leaving a lasting impression on my heart. The door lingered ajar, inviting yet perilous. The atmosphere in the room was thick, almost stifling, and there he stood, a vision that stirred something deep within. My beloved. I find myself lingering in that moment, observing his face. Oh, it lingers in my mind, an indelible mark on my heart, not resentment. This statement is not true just yet. Only disbelief. His mind appeared to be grappling with the striking visuals that had suddenly surfaced in front of him. The rhythm of my heartbeat echoed in my ears, a reminder of the intensity that coursed through me. I parted my lips, yet silence enveloped me. What words could possibly capture this feeling? What can I express? Everything remained untouched. Not quite. The moment he entered, everything else faded away. The raw, inescapable, tangled reality lingered in the atmosphere. He was silent, yet his presence was undeniable. My brother seemed to stand motionless. His expression remained unchanged, a mask concealing the tumult beneath. No fear. He is free from any feelings of regret or guilt. The transformation is subtle yet profound. As the shoulders align and the expression becomes an enigma, it seemed as though he had surrendered to the unfolding reality. He appeared to have come to terms with the fact that his feelings would inevitably materialize. Perhaps he had the truth within his grasp. My partner's voice emerged, thick with unspoken longing, heavy-hearted, intensely thrilling. What is happening? The sound is not a scream. It's not an accusation. It's merely a question. Yet it stirs something deeper within me. Yet it pierced me like a sharp edge, threatening to unravel everything within. I inhaled deeply, sensing the weight of my emotions pressing against my chest. My hands quivered with a mix of longing and trepidation. Whisper your thoughts in the silence. Speak your heart. My thoughts felt like a void. My breath trembled with a mix of longing and uncertainty. And then, my brother dared to break the silence. Our conversation lingered in the air, charged with an unspoken tension that hinted at something deeper, something we both felt but dared not acknowledge. Serene, uncomplicated, he appeared impervious to the turmoil encircling him. We appeared to be on a precipice, with the possibility of everything collapsing at any given time. My partner's gaze danced between us, charged with unspoken tension. His jaw tightened with unspoken longing. He felt a deep sense of doubt wash over him. He chose not to. The truth had always lingered in the shadows. Within the stillness, in the heaviness of the instant, despite everything, I found myself unable to meet his gaze. A sense of suffocation and undeniable tension seemed to engulf me in the room. There was a heavy, suffocating weight in my heart. At that moment, silence enveloped us, and my partner turned, leaving me with a whirlwind of unspoken emotions as they began to walk away. He gently closed the door behind him. He spoke softly, yet the weight of his words lingered in the air, heavy with unspoken longing. He has walked away, leaving an ache in the silence. And somehow, that felt even more unbearable. If he had voiced his concerns, pursued the truth, and acted, I would have been ready for the ensuing storm. Yet this quiet escape, this chilling yet deliberate choice to turn away, felt utterly daunting. I found myself lost in the depths of my confusion. His thoughts were a mystery to me, veiled in an intoxicating allure that simultaneously fascinated and terrified me. Imagine what he was about to embrace. We found ourselves trapped in a web of unspoken longing in that fleeting instant. It was my brother and me. Yet, I remain paralyzed, caught in a moment that feels both thrilling and forbidden. And then, at last, I released a breath I didn't know I was holding. I let out a trembling, fractured sigh in response. My gaze shifted towards him. His expression held a depth of mystery, concealing a whirlwind of unspoken emotions. Yet, I witnessed it. It stirred within me. A shift had occurred in the depths of our connection, and there was no turning back. In the days that followed, a whirlwind of unspoken longings and hidden truths stirred long-buried emotions. Each moment was charged with a tantalizing tension, as if the very air around me crackled with the weight of what could never be openly acknowledged. It was a dance of shadows and light, where every glance held a promise and every heartbeat echoed with the thrill of the forbidden. Disconnected, my partner remained silent. He didn't say it directly. He chose not to say it directly. His actions revealed a depth of feeling that was impossible to ignore. Chilling, silent whispers linger in the air. Longing. It's not the type of distance that results from bitterness. However, it's the type of distance that arises from unfulfilled hopes, from doubt. His understanding transcends the need for validation. In the quiet of that first morning, his gaze seemed to drift past me, as if the weight of unspoken truths hung heavily in the air. He lingered in the shadows of the room, lost in the glow of his phone, his gaze distant and hollow. I attempted to maintain a facade of normalcy. I made an effort to engage in light conversation. His silence lingered, heavy with unspoken longing. When he spoke, His voice carried a weight of unspoken longing. His voice was empty and devoid of passion. It seemed as though he had disappeared completely. Then, my brother appeared, his presence awakening long-suppressed emotions and stirring something deep within me. I embraced the facade of normalcy. Too ordinary. The world appeared to have stopped, untouched by the passage of time. Nothing seemed to have changed in the depths of their connection. His voice remained a gentle whisper, carrying an undercurrent of longing. His demeanor remained effortlessly calm. Yet, I could feel it stirring within me. He appeared to be exploring the innermost recesses of my being. He was challenging the boundaries of my determination. The goal was to determine whether I would be willing to give up. I turned away from him. I felt compelled to do so. Every time I caught sight of him, a wave of guilt erupted from within me, weighing heavily on my heart. Yet, it was more than mere guilt. It was an awakening of sorts. It was this aspect that filled me with the deepest dread. The burden of the truth was inescapable, pulling at the depths of my soul. This burden persisted even in the shadows. The silence that lingers between words is not acceptable. I was not alone with my thoughts. The moment lingered, echoing in my mind, a haunting refrain that refused to fade away. His presence lingered, a tantalizing closeness that stirred something deep within. The resonance of his voice as he uttered those words lingered in the air, stirring something deep within me. This was precisely how my partner had envisioned our connection. My heart soared with a thrilling urgency. I allowed him to escape. I yearned to reclaim everything I had lost. I yearned to wipe it away. Yet, I found myself unable to do so. The events that have unfolded have irrevocably changed my life. And somehow, nestled within the depths of my being, an undeniable truth stirred. The end was just the beginning. The burden of it all pressed down on my heart, like a weight bearing down, suffocating my thoughts and clouding my existence. The relentless ache in my stomach refuses to fade. An unsettling ache coiled within me, a tumultuous longing I couldn't escape. Could I face the reality? The reality was more overwhelming than any denial I could muster. I found myself lost in the echoes of that moment, unable to escape its haunting allure. His voice enveloped me, a haunting whisper that lingered in the depths of my soul, impossible to shake off. It's hard to pinpoint the moment it began, yet I find myself unable to push it aside any longer. The moment my breath hitched in my throat, the way I remained drawn in was remarkable. My partner viewed us from a particular perspective. I refrained from engaging in that intimate connection. The connection, untouched, yet so deeply felt, staying on the edge of what could never be undone. Yet, it held no significance. We had drifted too far into emotional vulnerability, and I didn't know how to come back from it. I had allowed it to unfold. I had experienced a longing that was never meant to be embraced. Do I possess a darkness within me? The thought lingered in the shadows of my mind, an intoxicating whisper that stirred something deep within me. The thought was more intense than the lingering, unspoken words between us. The intensity surpasses the shame that encircled my heart in a relentless embrace. I never imagined I could find myself drawn to something so intense and unexpected. This individual possesses the ability to break the bonds of love and trust. This individual has the capacity to linger on the brink of impossibility, enveloped in a state of ambiguity. Did I give him hope? I found myself lost in a sea of uncertainty. I had deluded myself into believing that it was solely his doing. He was the catalyst of this tumultuous journey, the one who had intertwined the boundaries, but perhaps I had allowed it to unfold. Perhaps I had sensed the intensity of his gaze upon me long before. Perhaps I had ignored the signs urging me to pause, allow the anticipation to simmer, embrace the stillness, allowing it to linger, savoring the unspoken tension that fills the air. Perhaps I yearned for attention. Perhaps I longed to experience that spark once more. Would it be possible to erase this moment from my mind? I yearned to, how I longed to. I yearned to change the past, allow it to disappear. We pretended to be two mere souls, cocooned in a house, absorbed in the radiance of a film, and reliving the innocence of the past. This phase was before the arrival of the text. The moments leading up to the revelation were crucial. My partner came in and saw the changes we'd experienced, yet the changes felt utterly unattainable. We had already inflicted the wounds, and despite my efforts to suppress it, the feeling lingered, undeniable and intense. Longing. I harbored a deep-seated disdain for myself. They entwined themselves within me, creating a tempest from which I was powerless to escape. Each glance in the mirror revealed a stranger, a haunting reflection that stirred something deep within me, awakening feelings I had long buried. She reflected the hidden parts of myself that I never dared to explore. She arouses emotions that hover on the edge of acceptable limits. something deeper, and that was the moment I uncovered a profound truth within myself. A chilling and disquieting feeling surged through me, igniting a profound yearning. It didn't matter what happened in the aftermath. Regardless of my words, I experienced what I described. The experiences I had were profound. I devoted my entire being to repairing the damage. Everything had changed irrevocably. For once, you step beyond that boundary, even if only in your thoughts. Even in the moments of your uncertainty, there lies a depth of feeling. The manner in which you permit a silence to persist, laden with unspoken yearning, is profoundly moving. Your heart flutters uncontrollably during the most inappropriate moments. Once lost, the past remains forever out of reach. Once you taste the thrill of what was once out of reach, the person you were fades into a distant memory. Why does that matter? This filled me with a profound sense of dread, and here I stand, at this crossroads of longing and revelation. The burden of unspoken truths weighs heavily on me. The burden of the past lingers heavily. The unfulfilled desires persist. The burden of unspoken truths lingers heavily in the air. What remained hidden in the quietness? Time and time again, I find myself asking questions. What was I meant to do? What choices would you have made? Because I find myself lost in a whirlwind of feelings I can no longer comprehend. I'm uncertain if there was a path to prevent this from unfolding in the first place. If only I had the power to stop it, sever it before it blossoms into something unrecognizable and painful. The soul harbors a persistent ache. Was it destined to happen? Had it begun to unfold long before I became aware? May I pose a question to you? Have you ever experienced a moment when boundaries faded away, leaving you in a whirlwind of feelings you never anticipated, where you felt an undeniable pull, a whisper of something amiss, yet found yourself unable to resist the intoxicating allure? Were you caught in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions, grappling with a sense of shame and an unnamed longing that stirred deep within you? If you've experienced it, if you understand that sensation, share it with me. Share your thoughts with me below. I immersed myself in each and every one. Perhaps, just perhaps, I'm not alone in experiencing these intense feelings. Please click the like button before you depart, and before you attempt to escape this stirring sensation, join the journey of unexpected passions and hidden truths. Some people may already feel emotionally charged from this story, but there is even more to discover. Believe me, you won't want to overlook what lies ahead. Transgressions often extend beyond the immediate act of crossing boundaries. At times, it's the journey that unfolds before the moment itself. At times, it's the hidden emotions that linger in the shadows. The uncertainty lingers. The stolen looks spark a spark within. You guard the hidden truths, even from your heart. And once you allow those boundaries to fade, once you permit change, even if only for an instant, you can never redefine them in quite the same manner again. Proceed with caution, for there are times when treachery unfolds in subtle whispers, hidden beneath layers of longing and unspoken truths. At times, the journey unfolds gradually, and by the moment you grasp the weight of your actions, the opportunity has slipped away, leaving only echoes of what might have been. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this story. If it touched you, don't forget to like and subscribe to LeVy Stories. Your support means the world to me and encourages me to bring more impactful, real-life stories just like this one. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next video.